Welcome! This tutorial will help you discover iVisit360 and learn how to set up panoramas of different formats. After opening iVisit360, we have some choices right on the startup page. We can start to prepare a new panorama by choosing the big plus sign, or we can open an existing one by browsing our hard drive. These thumbnails represent links to the recently edited panoramas. They help us find them and reopen them with one click. Below, we can customize the interface of iVisit360 by choosing between two color tones for the interface, a light one or a dark one. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there are useful links to the online help and iVisit360 tutorials. You can also join the iVisit360 community by simply choosing the appropriate link to Facebook or Google+. In this tutorial, we'll set up a new panorama, so I'm starting a new project with the help of this big plus sign. This will take us to the first phase of the process and reveal the appropriate interface. The different project phases are listed here in the upper right-hand side of the screen, and we can switch to one or to the other. We can also return to the startup screen at any moment with the help of this little house icon. The icons' order follow the logical life cycle of a panorama setup. It's not necessary to keep this order. We can jump from one phase to another, or simply return to a previous phase to readjust the settings. Most of the time, however, this is the best order to follow during our work. Below, we'll find the most important part of the screen, which is the preview of our project. It's empty for the moment, as there is no imported image to be previewed. We'll talk about that a little later on. At the left-hand side, we'll find the iVisit360 tools. We can close this tab with the arrow, and we can do the same with the lower tab, where we'll store the nodes. We'll learn about each tool. They're very intuitive and simple to use. Let's start. The first thing to do is to import some nodes, some prepared panoramic images in PNO format. Click on the plus sign and browse for it. The preview will show it as soon as it opens. PNO is the native format of iVisit360 and can be saved in many software. It can be exported by Atlantis, for example, or through dedicated plugins. It can also be saved in ArchiCAD, Rhino, Revit, or 3ds Max. SketchUp also has a dedicated plugin to export the PNO format. As you can see, there are a lot of possibilities to save panoramic images, nodes, that are ready to be imported into iVisit360 for further editing. Another important method is to drag and drop the selected PNO directly into the preview. I can select multiple PNO files and drag them all into the preview. iVisit360 will open them and display one of them in the preview. Now I can navigate and look all around. To view another imported panorama, just select another node in the toolbar. In the preview, I can check each node separately. If they were saved correctly, then all is fine. These panoramas were all saved in Atlantis Studio 6 and exported directly in PNO format. All nodes have been imported, so I'm ready to set up a virtual visit of this apartment and link these panoramic images. This can be done very easily, and you'll see that in a second. To start, I select the node and the view to be seen for the first time whenever this panorama is opened. The first node will be that of the living room and set up the orientation of the camera. In the toolbar, I right-click over the node's thumbnail, and from the menu I choose Set as Starting Panorama. The thumbnails are instantly reorganized, and a small number 1 appears on the selected node, showing its new position. I navigate by holding down the left mouse button in the preview. I can turn all the way around in 360 degrees. I can also zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. Now I'm choosing the first view after opening. This view with the TV set will be just fine, and I click on the Start View icon in the toolbar. A message appears, Initial Orientation Set for the Panorama. This also means that whenever I change to another node and come back to this one, this will be the view I'll see for the first time. Now we'll link the different nodes to each other. Let's see. Here's the dining area, and just behind it is the kitchen. From the toolbar, I take the node of the kitchen and simply drag and drop it into the preview. An active link has been created, which can now take me further into the kitchen and right in the preview. I can turn around and visit the kitchen by looking around in 360 degrees. To go back into the living room, I need a new link for that. Therefore, I drag and drop the living room thumbnail into the preview to create it. Once I'm finished, I can return to the living room and create new links that will take me to the other areas of the apartment. I'll finish making the links here, so I'm dropping the different thumbnails into the preview. This will link the living room with the second room in this apartment. This will be the one toward the bathroom, and finally, dropping this thumbnail will link the living room with the first room. The links are finished, and I can at any time delete them with a right click or reposition them by holding down the mouse button and move them to another location. The link has the same name as the node, which can also be changed with a right click on the thumbnail and renamed. Later, we will also learn how this name can be repositioned compared to the link. After I finish creating the links for the living room, I have to do exactly the same thing for the other nodes too. I go into the kitchen and start to drop node thumbnails for room 1 here. The next link will be that of the bathroom right over this door. And finally, we will place the link for room 2. I can review my nodes and continue the visit into room 1. Here too, to return into the living room, I have to create the appropriate link. I'll put it over this door because this is the door taking us back there. Finally, you don't need to make all links from everywhere. You can have less links in some parts and concentrate on main directions and connections in an apartment, for example. Accessing room 2, we'll add a link back to the living room as well and another link to the bathroom. In the bathroom, we'll add 2 other nodes, one taking us back to room 2 and the other one for the living room. Now all nodes have been linked in some way, some containing more possibilities and some less. It all depends on you and how you would like to organize this virtual visit. With all this finished, let's see what else we can do using iVisit360. I can complete the panorama with images or videos, for example. This TV screen offers a good opportunity to do so. First, I have to define the zone for mapping. I choose the Zone tool and start to draw it in the preview. Once finished, a dialog appears with 2 tabs at the upper side, Not Clickable or Clickable. Here I define if this image or video will act as an active link or not. I choose to attach a not clickable image, for example. In this moment, I can start to browse for an image file to map on the screen. This zone can also work as an active link. This is the Clickable tab. Here I have 3 possibilities for the zone style. The zone can stay completely transparent with nothing mapped over it. In this case, you'll continue to see the screen the way it is now. The zone will only host an active link. When the link is activated, it can take you either to a website in a browser or display an image or start to play a video. This is what these 3 lower options are about. In our example, we'll map a video over the screen, which will work as an active link. I choose the video mapping and browse my hard drive to choose one. I'm searching for a shorter video in MP4 format. Here it is. Now I set the action for the link from the lower options. I could choose the video again and assign the same video to it. What effect would it produce in the final panorama? While navigating, the video would run on the screen, and when you click on it, the same video would open in full screen mode. The same would happen in case of an image. The mapped MP4 video is about a software, so I'll prefer to link the software's website to it. I can write the address directly here or look for the website of renderin.com in a browser. This is the name of this visualization software, and copy-paste it instead. When I'm ready, I click Enter. The image in the preview shows me that the mapped item is a video, which will act as a link in the final panorama. The corners of the zone remain editable. I simply drag them to make further adjustments. With a right click, I can rotate, delete the zone, or reopen the editing dialog and change any of the settings. iVisit360 offers me another annotation possibility, which can be done without drawing a zone. Here is this table, for example, that I wish to complete with further information. I choose the annotation icon in the toolbar and make a double click over the table in the preview. It opens a dialog, and I have three possibilities. The link can take me to a website. It can offer a longer description or comment in rich text format, or it can open an image or video in full screen mode. I would like to create a link to a website containing more information about this table. I'm choosing the Online Website tab and start to enter the correct address. Or, I better go and browse the web, look for the correct address on the manufacturer's page. Here I am. This is a bow concept table, an extendable dining table. This is it. This is the website to be linked to my iVisit360 panorama through the annotation link. I copy-paste the web address and hit Enter. It will create a new icon, a button over the table, which can be repositioned the same way if I wish. By holding down the left mouse button, I can simply drag this icon wherever I want. Inside the icon, there is a little chain showing that there's a link, and it will open a browser window. If I click on it now, it reopens the editing dialog where I can make further edits if necessary. There is one more icon left in the toolbar which wasn't mentioned yet, and this is the pitch tool. It allows us to adjust the camera balance and set the horizontal position to it. In the preview, a yellow guide appears, highlighting the horizontal direction and helps us reorient the camera if we get lost a bit during our work. With this, we finish the first phase of panoramas, and we can continue to the next one called plans. This part will allow us to add a plan view to my panorama. Here are my nodes composing this panorama, and the rest of the screen is empty for the moment because no plan was added so far. To add a plan, I simply click on the plus sign and browse for a plan view of this apartment. This was also created in Atlantis and rendered in a JPEG format. I'll choose this JPEG image and add it to my panorama. Once done, I zoom out by scrolling with the mouse wheel and find the best view for it. Now I can locate the nodes on this plan by dragging and dropping them into it. That's the position for the living room. The next node will be dropped for the kitchen. Next comes the one for the rooms and the bathroom. I'm locating the cameras. These signs will also function as active links and will open the right panorama node. Such plan views complete any virtual tour very well and help us to better understand any building. It's possible to add multiple plan views in case of a multi-story building and locate nodes according to their real position inside the building. Now we are ready to continue and work out the style. In this phase, we already have the preview of the future panorama with all nodes accessible from the drawer below, right at the bottom of the preview. There you can also find the different control buttons like this one for an automatic rotation. The other controllers help you launch the sound of the video or start playing the video itself. This button will open the plan view with the links already on. On the whole, we can preview the panorama the way it will finally work and at the same time adjust the style of the buttons and texts. iVisit360 offers by default a specific style for the links we can see in the preview. This can be changed by clicking on this icon here in the toolbar and choosing another one from a large selection. Let's go for this one, and instantly all links were changed in the preview. The same can change the color of these links. Just click on Color to open the list of possibilities. We can have red, green, orange, whatever we want. iVisit360 will automatically change the colors for all links in our project. Once finished, click again on Color to close this list. We can also customize the text containing the name of the links. I have Arial fonts, and I can make them bold by changing their type. The fonts list is very large, containing all fonts installed on your computer. In this list, I can choose a different positioning of the text compared to the link. Changing the position of texts can make them more visible and easier to detect. It's possible to add a logo to the panorama or a company name we wish to keep highlighted all the time. I'm browsing my hard drive for an image file that can be a JPEG or a PNG with transparent elements and validate it. We don't need a high-resolution file. A small, only few kilobytes file will do, and it will be automatically placed in the upper left-hand side of the preview. To change it, choose another setting from the list with positions of the logo. Our panorama is almost ready. We can continue to the last previewing phase and check it out if it was all set correctly. At this phase, we will set up the options for the final panorama. We start by naming it right in the toolbar. Let's call it house_pano. And we also should define the destination folder. iVisit360 will always suggest a location which we can easily modify. The next step is to define how large the player in the Internet browser should be. The iVisit360 preview is always a square, and by setting the player size, we define the size of the browser window where I can view the final panorama. I can choose among some presets, and of course I can set custom values too. I choose a large player of 1280 by 720, the 16:9 ratio, which is one of the standard and most comfortable sizes to view such a panorama on an internet browser. These three icons here are about the format. The left one will save the panorama in PNO, and as soon as we click on it, the calculation begins. This is the format we can open on our tablets, smartphones, or any mobile device as well. First, we need to install a viewer, also called iVisit360, that we can download for free from the App Store, Google Play for the Android platform, or Windows Phone. Sharing panoramas on such devices can be very easy and practical in most cases. To share it in a traditional environment like on computer screens in an internet browser, you have two options: to save it in webgl HTML5 format or Flash format. It works the same. You click on it and the calculation starts instantly. It will save the context with the same name and at the same location defined above. You say yes to finish, and let's see how this format looks. Here's the folder with the predefined name house_pano completed with webgl. Inside there are two HTML files to open the panorama in full page mode or in the predefined window. The Assets folder contains the necessary data composing this panorama, like all nodes, and the other folder, called Player, stores the player with its icon, etc. I right-click on the full-screen HTML file and choose a browser, the native browser for Windows, and open it. My virtual visit starts with the scene we set to be the first to be seen. The video starts to play on the screen, and because I added an internet link to it, I can open the appropriate web page with one click. And here we are on the renderin.com website. Back to my panorama, I can stop this video with one of the controllers here at the bottom, or start it again. If it plays, I can cut the sound with the next button. Continuing my tour, I will find all links toward the neighboring cameras the way I set them in iVisit360. I can choose another one, and here too, I'll find the link back to the living room, and when I click on it, The first view I'll see will be that already defined in iVisit360. I can also open the 2D plan with the nodes, which are now active links, and allow me to go back to one of the cameras. The player contains an auto-rotate function, making my visit more dynamic, for example, and I can stop it with the same button. The last button will hide the browser's tools and set the panorama in a real full-screen mode, and we'll use the same button to make these tools reappear again. There is a last link we should check out that we set on the table and which takes us to the website of the table producer. This is it. Here we are on the Bow Concept site on the right page about this table. This is a great way to link complementary information to specific objects and elements in our virtual tour. Just a last review of the P&O file. This is the native iVisit360 file. Returning to the home page of iVisit360, this will be found among the thumbnails of recent files. We can reopen it at any time we wish to modify anything. And with this, we've finished reviewing the way we can set up virtual visits in iVisit360. I'd also like to remind you that the plugins can be downloaded from our website. This will help you to export P&O formats from the most widely known modelers or visualization software into iVisit360. You can also use 360-degree images taken with the panoramic cameras of 360 degrees. In this case, setting up panoramas work the exact same way. The only difference is that you'll be able to navigate on real photos instead of virtual images. Thank you for watching, and see you at our next tutorial about plugins or about iVisit360.